Welcome back to Inside Factory Produce. Today, we are taking you to a place where the laws of physics are tested every single day. And where human ambition reaches heights that seem to defy the very nature of gravity. We are standing at the edge of a 500-hectare industrial kingdom. A world-class shipyard where the horizon is dominated not by natural mountains or city skyscrapers, but by the colossal steel skeletons of the giants that carry the global economy on their massive backs. Look at this massive iron anchor resting on the pier. It weighs over 100 tons alone. Forged from high tensile steel to hold a 200.000-ton beast in place against the fiercest storms of the North Atlantic. But before a ship can ever face the raw power of the ocean, it must be born here, in a perfectly choreographed symphony of fire, light, and mechanical precision. Building a 400-meter mega container ship, roughly the length of 4 football fields, is no longer just shipbuilding in the traditional sense that our ancestors would recognize. It has evolved into the world's most complex and dangerous game of Lego. Engineers no longer build from the keel up in a single, continuous piece at the dock. Instead, they design and fabricate hundreds of individual, massive steel modules, each a masterpiece of engineering in its own right, often weighing as much as an entire office building. On these high-definition 4K touchscreens in the design center, every single bolt, every kilometer of pipe, and every microscopic weld is mapped out in a digital twin before a single plate of steel is even touched by a cutter. This is the birth of a titan, a process that blends brute industrial force with the invisible, microscopic accuracy of modern simulation software. Today, we witness the creation of a maritime legend. Let's step deep into the heart of the yard to see how engineering without limits turns raw ore into a floating city. The journey begins with raw, unyielding steel plates. These massive slabs, some over 50 millimeters thick and reinforced with carbon and manganese, are the primary building blocks of our giant. Watch as the CNC plasma cutter moves with ghostly, silent precision across the surface. Its blue laser hot beam slicing through reinforced steel like a hot knife through butter. The air in this hall is thick with the scent of ozone and the brilliant, white-hot sparks of creation. Every curve of the ship's hull is mathematically calculated to minimize hydrodynamic drag. A design that will save thousands of tons of heavy fuel oil as the ship cuts through the resistance of the waves. This is where high-tech robotics meet the heaviest of metals. In this fabrication hall, specialized robotic welding arms glide along seams with a pulsing violet electric arc, creating welds that are actually structurally stronger than the original steel plates themselves. This level of perfection is critical because, at sea, the hull will be subjected to millions of tons of torsional pressure from the waves. Each plate is bent into its final shape by 2,000-ton hydraulic presses that groan under the immense force required to curve such stubborn structures into the elegant lines of a ship's bow. Once the exterior shell is ready, the complex interior work begins.
Bring it back right
Workers
slowly,
install
copy.
miles of neon-colored electric cables and thick, insulated oil pipes within these steel walls. We even see fully finished crew cabins, prefabricated hotel-like rooms with plumbing and furniture already installed, being slid into place like drawers in a cabinet. These completed modules are then transported by self-propelled modular transporters, SPMTs, moving 500-ton sections across the yard with dozens of computer-controlled wheels moving in perfect unison. It is a city of steel in pieces, a puzzle of unprecedented scale, waiting to be assembled into a single, cohesive masterpiece of global logistics. Welcome to the true heart of the shipyard, the dry dock. This is a massive, hollow concrete canyon where the true, terrifying scale of the mega ship finally becomes clear to the human eye. Once the giant gates are sealed and millions of gallons of seawater are pumped back into the harbor, the stage is set for the main event. The world's largest gantry crane, a steel tower standing over 40 stories high, begins its slow, rhythmic crawl along heavy-duty iron tracks. It is here that the Lego game reaches its absolute peak. The keel module, the very spine and foundation of the ship, is lowered onto concrete support blocks with a precision of less than 1 millimeter. Imagine trying to align a 2,000-ton block of metal with the accuracy of a single strand of human hair while it hangs from a crane hundreds of feet in the air. That is the daily, High-stakes reality for these master engineers. As the modules are stacked higher and higher, a small army of 50 specialized welders works simultaneously on a single vertical seam, creating a blinding, hypnotic wall of light that can be seen from miles away
let's
at
move
night.
on to the secondary
Week
input
by
array.
week, the ship, Mach, grows from the floor of the dock. Rising like a wall of steel against the sky, we see the installation of the massive bronze propeller 10 meters in diameter. Shimmering like a golden sun and designed to push the ship at 22 knots through the water.
We have contact.
Then comes the heart, a 3-story tall main engine,
We need the readout on
lowered
the
by the
alignment
crane
now.
into the hollow engine room. This mechanical beast is a
Torque to
marvel
spec.
of internal
All right, let's
combustion,
power it up.
providing the 100,000 horsepower needed to propel this city-sized vessel across the globe. Finally, the accommodation block, the ship's head, containing the bridge and living quarters, is placed on top of the structure. The silhouette is now complete, standing beneath the hull in the shadows of the dock, looking up at a wall of steel as tall as a 20-story building. You finally understand the sheer audacity of human ambition. The atmosphere in the shipyard today is electric, charged with a mixture of nervous energy and professional pride. An industrial siren wails across the docks, its sound echoing off the steel hulls, signaling the beginning of the end of the construction phase. This is the launching, the sacred moment of transition from a land-based structure to a sea-going vessel. Giant valves are turned, and the dry dock begins to flood. Watch as the water rushes in through the intakes, creating massive white splashes and turbulent waves against the vibrant, anti-fouling red hull. This is a tense moment for every engineer. They are waiting for the moment of buoyancy. As the water level rises, covering the massive propellers and the rudder, the 200,000-ton ship begins to vibrate slightly. Then, a miracle of physics occurs. The steel titan lifts off its support blocks and floats for the first time.
Watch your
It
feet.
is no longer a building, it is a living vessel of the sea.
Clear on this side.
The massive
Bring it
gates
down
swing
slowly.
open to the deep blue ocean, and tiny but incredibly powerful tugboats move in like loyal servants to guide the giant out of its birthplace. Then comes the traditional christening, a ceremony as old as seafaring itself. In slow motion, a bottle of fine champagne swings on a rope and smashes against the blue bow, erupting in a cloud of white foam and sparkling glass shards, a ritual of luck and protection for the long journey ahead. But the ship must still prove its worth before it can be handed over to the owners. Out in the open sea, the sea trials begin. The engine roars to life, and the 10-meter propeller creates a massive underwater vortex of bubbles. The ship performs extreme, zigzag maneuvers and emergency stops, leaning into the waves to test its structural stability and steering response. From the high windows of the bridge, looking down the 400-meter-long deck toward the horizon, you feel the raw, unmatched power of engineering cutting through the limitless blue. The ship has passed its tests with flying colors. It is no longer a project, it is a conqueror of the world's oceans. Our giant has finally arrived at its first commercial port, ready to fulfill its destiny. Here, the final part of its mission begins as the massive shoreside cranes move into action. Thousands of colorful shipping containers are loaded onto the deck in perfect, rhythmic stacks, resembling a giant, multicolored mosaic of global trade. Fully loaded, the ship sits deep in the water, a majestic sight of pure power and industrial purpose. As the sun sets, casting a golden, amber glow over the harbor, the mega ship leaves the port, heading toward the distant, hazy horizon. It is a floating city, a vital bridge between continents, delivering the food, medicine, clothing, and technology that billions of people rely on every single day to survive and thrive. Without these giants and the brave crews that sail them, our modern world would simply grind to a halt within days. Standing on the pier, the engineers, welders, and architects who spent months of their lives building this Titan wave goodbye. There is a profound, silent sense of pride in their eyes. They didn't just build a ship, they built a legacy of human ingenuity, teamwork, and global cooperation. At Inside Factory Produce, we are constantly in awe of the sheer scale and complexity of modern manufacturing. This 400-meter marvel is a testament to what happens when we refuse to accept limits and strive for the impossible. It is a story of steel, fire, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the world's largest Lego set. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more of the world's most fascinating factories and the incredible giants they create. Until next time, remember, the only limit to engineering is the reach of our collective imagination. The ocean is calling, and the giants are ready to answer. The future is circular, and the giants are leading the way.